guys, welcome back to my channel. I've missed you. If you're clicking on this video, it's obviously because you want to plan a trip to India. And this year I went to India for my birthday, and as iconic as it was, the visa process was a bit strenuous. We had a few issues and bumps along the road. So I wanted to walk you guys through what the visa process looks like. If you need a step-by-step guide, that's what this is going to be. We're going to go through the whole thing together because I want to make sure that your trip to India is successful and that you don't have to delay your vacation because your visa isn't approved. Without further ado, stay tuned and let's get into it. Okay, so here are the things you're going to need before we even get into the visa process. One, you are going to need a photo headshot of yourself, okay? Make sure you have that. If you do not have that, go ahead and take that. Second of all, we're gonna need a credit or debit card to pay for the visa. The visa amount is 25 US dollars. The next thing you will need is a copy of your passport photo. All you need to do is literally get your passport, take a little picture of your passport photo. Make sure you can see your full name and your nationality, and you're gonna wanna upload that to your computer. If you need help with that, we'll get to it. We're gonna do a step-by-step together, but I just wanna make sure you guys have all the materials before we start. And then lastly, you're gonna need your laptop. It is going to be so much easier to do this on your laptop versus on your mobile phone. So go ahead and get that laptop, okay? Get locked in. And now that you have your laptop ready, you're locked in, you got your water. Let's make sure we're hydrated. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to type in indiavisaonline.gov.in/eVisa. Okay, now if you didn't catch that, go ahead and look in the description box below and I'm gonna have the link ready for you and you can just click on that. Okay, we're gonna make this as easy as possible. When you pull up the website, and I do want to leave a disclaimer that there are several websites that are going to say you can get your e-visa here. If you Google search visa for India, there's going to be several different websites that come up. I want to make sure that you're on the right one. That's why I put the website below, because you don't want to get one of the scam ones. Now you also don't want an agency to do it because they're going to charge you more. This is the official government website. Okay, so once you get to that site, you are going to see a screen that looks like this. You're going to close out this tab, and then this is the screen that you are going to see. Okay, there's several visas that you can get if you're there for school, if you're there for work. In our case, we're just simply there to be a tourist. We want to go see the Taj Mahal. We just want to be in India. Okay, so under advisory, you will see all the list of visas that you can apply for. So in the bottom left, the second one at the bottom says apply here for e-visa. You're going to click that. Once you click that, it's going to bring you to this page to actually start the process of the visa application. And this part is pretty easy. You're going to fill in all of your information. I'm going to click on ordinary passport, y'all. I don't know what those other passports are, but we got an ordinary one over here in America, okay? You're going to put your port of arrival. So for me personally, I will be arriving through New Delhi's airport. So that is the airport that I put. You're going to put your birthday and your email, all of your personal information, okay? Now, again, like I mentioned earlier, you're going to select which visa option you have. Me personally, I'm doing the one for 30 days simply because I know that I'm probably not going to go back to India anytime soon. That is so far from me. But if you have plans to, periodically go to India, I would say you should do the one that is valid for 1 year if you know you'll be back and forth. I know I'm not going to be back and forth. So click which one is applicable to you. And then I'm not meeting any friends or I'm not doing a yoga program, which honestly, that would be so cool if I was. I do not have an India code. So go ahead and click no if you do not have that. And then put in your date of arrival. So this should be pretty straightforward. You're just entering all of your information for your trip. Make sure you understand the instructions and let's go ahead and click to the next page. So the first portion of this is just going to be your applicant details. Again, this is going to be all of your personal information. So you shouldn't have any trouble entering that in. Put your first and last name, your gender, your date of birth, the town or city that you were born in, your region of birth, your citizenship or national ID. Now, we do not have that here in the US, so I put NA for that. And then put your religion. I am Christian. Your visible identification marks, I just put NA. I mean, now that I'm thinking about this now, I probably could have put like nose ring on the right nostril, or like if you have a mole on your left cheek. I didn't do all of that just because, I just didn't. Moving on to passport details, go ahead and enter in all of your personal information for your passport. So put that passport number, place of issue, date of issue, date of expiration. And then if you have any other passports, make sure you list this here. Again, I do not. I am only a citizen of the USA, so I do not have anything else to put. But if you are a dual citizen, you're going to list that there as well. And once you click that you do not have any other valid passports, it's going to remove the mandatory fields below that. So we're going to press save and continue. Make sure you continue to hit save and continue. That way, if you start and stop, you still have all of your progress saved, okay? Because I made the mistake of not saving, and I literally went to go get food and then came back and all of my stuff was gone. I had to redo it. So moving on to the next page, you're going to enter in all of your personal information. I do not live in Uganda. I live in the USA. They do have a drop down menu for this, so you can really scroll and then just like search by the letter of the country. Then you'll put in your phone number. Again, all of your personal information, okay? Now moving on to father's details. So they want to know the name and information behind your mother and your father. So you're going to go ahead and enter in that. You don't need to know anything besides their place of birth, their nationality, and then the region of their birth. So they're not asking you for their passport info. They're not asking you for their email, their address. I've done visas where they actually ask for the address of your parent because they like, no, I need to know where your folks is at. Once you enter in all of that information, you'll go down and you'll put in your marital status. I'm single as a Pringle, so I'll put that in. And then it asks, were your parents, grandparents, do they belong to any Pakistan nationals or anything like that? For me, the answer is no. I don't know anybody in Pakistan. I ain't never even been there. So you're going to put no if that's the case. And then down to the professional column, this is because I clicked professional. So it's going to ask for your occupation. I just put worker. I don't think they had marketing here. They had like media. I was trying to figure out what the best answer was for this because I did not see my exact occupation on here. Although I wish I am retired, I am not. So I just put worker. And I put the employer's name, so my company name. And then I left designation blank because I'm not sure what that is supposed to mean. And it also didn't have an asterisk by it. So I was like, oh, okay, not mandatory. And then I put the address of my job. The past occupation is not mandatory. It does not have an asterisk next to it. So you can really skip that. I did not enter in that because I've had so many jobs and I'm not taking the time to put in each past job. So again, we're going to hit save and continue. We're going to go to the next page. Details of visa slot. So let's get into the details of the visa that you are applying for. Again, I'm applying for an eVisa for a 30-day tourist visa, okay? Places to be visited. So you're going to type in wherever you are planning to go. For me, I knew I was going to Delhi, but honestly, our itinerary was very loose and I had not planned things in detail by detail. So I had to look up where the Taj Mahal is because I know that that's also somewhere I was going to go. The city that the Taj Mahal is in is called Agra. So if you do plan to go to the Taj Mahal, just type in Agra because it is about a 3-hour drive from Delhi. So it's not in the same city. And then I actually put Taj Mahal here next to Agra. I really don't think you needed to do that because now knowing what I know now, the Taj Mahal is in Agra. I was thinking that they were separate places before I got there. So yeah, you really don't have to do that. And then I also put Jaipur because I Googled that and that looked like something I was also going to go to. I had not booked any hotel or anything. Again, our itinerary was very loose and we had not planned things in depth. So I put no, but I didn't know I was flying into Delhi's airport because that's the only airport that flies direct from the US. And then you're going to enter in if you've had a previous visa in India. So if you've ever visited India and if you have permission to stay extended, I put no for both because those do not apply to me. Now, this is the part that actually got a little tricky. It says countries visited in the last 10 years. Hello? Do you know how much I travel in the last 10 years? And then it says literally on the right, if information furnished is found to be incorrect at the time of entry or any time during stay in India, you will be refused entry. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I call my mom and I'm like, Mom, do you know all the places that I've been in the last 10 years? So I literally went in alphabetical order. I'm like, okay, we'll start in the A's. Australia, Aruba, Barbados, Belgium, Belize, Brazil, Colombia. The list literally goes on and on and on and on and on. I was literally going through each country that I had been to that I could think of off the top of my head. And at this point, I have a very long list. As you can see, there's so many countries on here. I'm a little nervous because I'm just like, I hope I don't miss anything because my worst fear is that when I go through immigration, they can look up all the countries that I visited and I miss one. What I wish I would have known is you can only put a maximum of 20 countries on here. In this case, I had been to more than 20 countries. So some countries were going to get left off, and that's not my fault because the system said only 20 countries can be selected. It does not tell you that until you finish doing the rest of the information, and then you click save and go to the next page, and then there's a little arrow button that will say minimum of 20 countries can be selected. Only put in 20 and just put in the 20 most recent trips. Moving on down to the next portion. Have you visited any SAARC countries except your own? That is the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. I put no because I don't even know what that is. And then you go down to reference. I ended up putting the hotel name. And again, I hadn't booked official hotel accommodation, but I was like, oh, the Radisson Blue Plaza in Delhi's airport seems like a fine airport to say. That's what I put as my reference name because again, I don't have any family or friends in India. So I put in the state, which is Delhi, New Delhi, the phone number, and then it's asking you in reference name in United States. It's asking you for an emergency contact, essentially. So I put my sister because my mother was going on the trip with me. So I don't want her to be my emergency contact because if something happens, they're going to call her and she's literally next to me. Once I click save and continue, I found out that I could only have up to 20 countries. So I'm going through and I'm just kind of Xing out countries that weren't as recent just to get it down to 20. You're going to hit save and continue and you're going to go on to the next page. Once you get to this page, it is going to ask you to upload a photo. There's photo specifications in the bottom corner. It has to be a JPEG and there is a certain size range that it has to be between. Now this part tripped me out because the photo that I had for this was larger than 1 millibyte. We're going to get into that in a second, but you're going to hit upload photo. Again, it does say this application is liable to be rejected if the uploaded photograph are not clear. So you do want to make sure this is clear. We don't want this being rejected. We do not have time for that. We have a trip to get to, okay? So at this point, I'm looking for photos that I can use, and I have a really old headshot from college. I still look as young as ever, but I used that photo because it was a professional headshot, so it did have that white background. And then once you hit upload photo, it's gonna have you click and drag the box to resize. You want to make sure that it's literally a headshot, so focus in on just your face. Okay, once you have that squared away, you're going to hit save and continue. I did misspeak. It wasn't this portion that had the sizing issue. It was the passport photo that has a sizing issue. So once you get to this page, you click next, and then it wants you to upload a copy of your passport containing the personal particulars. So essentially that's your passport photo that has all of your information. This is where I had issues because the photo that I had of my passport was larger than the maximum size. So what I ended up doing, as you can see here, it tells you what size the photo is. If you go to Finder, it'll tell you what size it is. And then when I click upload, it says document size exceeds 1 millibyte. Please upload a file smaller. At this point, I was like, okay, what is the best way to compress a photo for free? If you have Canva Pro or any of the Adobe Suite applications, you can do it through there. I am a Canva girly, so I decided to utilize my Canva. If you do not have Canva Pro or any of the other like tools where you can resize it, I'm pretty sure you can Google like compress a photo for free, because that's essentially what you need to do. And then once you get to that site, you want to put it in to be smaller than 1 millibyte, because that's what it needs to be. If you do have a Canva Pro account, you're going to go into Canva, click new project, you're going to click upload photo, and then you're going to upload the photo of your passport. You're going to drag it to this box to make it full size. For me, when I click share, we're going to click download in the top right corner. We're going to change it from PNG to a PDF standard because it says only PDF files could be submitted. So we're going to change this to a PDF, and then you're going to hit download. Once this downloads, you're going to go ahead and make sure it is saved to your computer, to your downloads, or to your desktop. You're going to go back to choose file, and then you're going to upload that photo. And then for some reason, once I click confirm, it didn't work. And then I realized, oh, you have to click upload document before you hit confirm. Like, you choose the file, but then you have to click upload document, and then you should see status go to uploaded in green, and then you'll hit confirm. So make sure you hit that first. And then once you get to the next page, it's essentially going to just confirm all of your details and just show you that this is your temporary application ID number. So you're going to want to make sure you have that jotted down just in case you need to look up the status or reach out about your visa. So you're going to hit verify and continue. It's going to send you a little notification saying that the Visa fee is 25 USD. You're going to hit okay, cool, confirm. It has all this information for the disclaimers. Make sure you read through this and ensure you don't have any issues with that. I did not, because it's either you agree to it or you don't go to India. At the bottom under undertaking, you just need to make sure that you click that you have read and understood all of the questions and statements and that this information is true. You're going to hit yes, and then you're going to hit pay now. Now, once you hit pay now, it's going to come up with 3 different options. I don't know what any of these are except PayPal. I hit PayPal, and then I got this note saying that the fee payment may take up to 2 hours due to technical reasons. I don't know if it's still doing that. And then after you hit okay, it's going to process you and redirect you to a different browser. And this is the payment browser, okay? As you see at the top, it does say debit, credit card, and then it also says PayPal. So I simply just did credit card because that's the easiest form for me. Now, please note that on the right, it shows that it accepts Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and PayPal. But when I put in my American Express credit card, it said card not supported. So I don't think it actually accepts American Express. So I ended up using my Visa credit card. Once you hit pay now, it's going to bring you to this page that says payment success. So make sure you screenshot this portion, or just make sure that you have, again, that application ID. That way you can reference back to this if you have any issues moving forward or you need to reach out or check on the status of your application. It does say that it will take 72 hours for processing, but obviously everyone's Visa process is going to differ based on the time. Okay, so now that we've gone ahead and done the Visa application, like I mentioned, it should take 72 hours. For me personally, mine was approved literally like 36 hours later. It wasn't even a full 2 days that I got the email and it said that my Visa application was approved. Now, however, I went to India with my mother and my best friend. My mother's application took like 4 days to get approved. And then my best friend's application never got approved nor denied. He literally never got any email communication back. He called them several times. He emailed them several times, and we could not get a response. So he ended up having to apply for the visa again. And then 48 hours later, he got approved. So that was the issue with the visa, because we were supposed to be traveling to India literally like 4 days after we applied to the visa. So I would say give yourself at least 2 weeks just to have peace of mind and know that your visa will be approved and you don't have to move your flight. You don't have to move your hotel if you booked one. But again, from my personal experience, for my visa, it only took pretty much a day and a half. So it was pretty quick. I hope this process was fairly easy, and I hope that you guys don't have to go through all the hiccups that I went through by watching this. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. But if not, I hope you guys have a wonderful trip to India, and I will see you on the next video. Love you. Bye.